Hey yo, what's going on everybody? It's Tylarious, aka Ty Killington. Yeah, man. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be discussing my predictions for the Casino DLC. Basically what I think might happen, what I want to happen, and overall just how this DLC is going to work. And I'll be basing a lot of the information on what has already happened in the past and what could possibly happen with this DLC going forward. Okay, so stick with me here. And if you guys have any kind of additions or if you have any ideas yourself, definitely leave them in the comments down below. I love when we can speculate and talk about this and see what happens. Maybe some of us will be right, and of course there'll be a lot of things we probably won't get directly correct. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to address a few points, a few key things here. All right, that everyone is curious about, and we'll talk about this here. Let's start out with the release date. So we've got information from credible leakers in the community talking about the dates and things like that, and then we can also go on past history with what Rockstar has done with the DLC drops. So everyone is leaning towards the end of June, early July. This date has been talked about for not just the Casino DLC, but before we knew there was going to be a Casino DLC, this date had been teased for a DLC for a couple of months now. So the end of June, in regard to June, 27th, 25th, 27th, in that range, on to the beginning of July. Now you have July 4th, which is basically a tunables update for Rockstar, where they release all the 4th of July content. So there's a couple of ways they can go about doing this. They could release the DLC the week before, and everyone has a week to enjoy it, check it out. We'll make videos on how the DLC works, the businesses, and then they'll also have a release on July 4th, the following week, for all the patriotic DLC content and things like that. And that could be the first week where they do some double money bonuses, which they traditionally always do, right? So there's a couple of ways they can go about doing that. Again, they could release it the week before, give everyone a week to enjoy it. Then the following week have additional content come out with the 4th of July themed content and start their first bit of drip feed, I guess, and their double money bonuses. Or they could just release it all in one go with 4th of July, have all that content come out, which I'm not sure they would do that. I mean, of course it's a possibility, but it's just a lot of stuff going on. You got the 4th of July content, you got the new DLC content, so I think they would probably split it up and either do basically a late June release, or maybe even into the second week of July. But again, they could release it all together on that July 4th. But usually the July 4th stuff only lasts for a couple of days. They usually don't do a whole week. But that's my prediction right there in that time frame, either together or a little bit separated. So, but yeah, that's what everyone's been talking about right there. It is possible they could go a week further back just to kind of let everything settle down with the 4th of July stuff. So let's talk about the cost. How much is this DLC going to cost? Now, we have tons of information already available to us in regard to previous DLC content. Now, everyone always freaks out and everyone gets that sticker shock, right? Because a lot of the DLCs in past have been extremely expensive. However, this is what people don't realize. This is what people don't understand, is that the DLCs in their entirety, if you want to buy everything, yeah, they're really, really expensive. You want to get all the clothes, all the cars, including all the drip-fed content and things like that. You're looking at, some DLCs have been upwards of hundreds of millions of dollars, right, for everything all together on both characters. But most people don't do that. The good thing is that with every DLC that's dropped, to get the bare essentials, to if it's like a business type DLC, to get started, to get the bare minimum, you only need about $5 million. For example, say you get the bunker DLC, right? To get the bare minimum, you want to get the grapeseed bunker. Even if you want to get the upgrades, you're only going to spend about $3 million max. About $1 million for the location, about $1 million, maybe $1.5 million for the upgrades, and that's really about it. So not even $3 million. And that's the bare essentials. That's full upgrades. You got the actual business, and you can start making money from day one. Now that doesn't include the vehicles and stuff like that, but you don't necessarily have to have those to get started. Let's look at the biker DLC. To get the best business in the biker DLC, it was the cocaine business, right? And you can get a really good location for $900,000, and then the upgrades will run you about $1.5 million. So under $3 million, you have everything you need. You have the location, you have the upgrades to maximize your efficiency, and you're good to go. So we have two examples right there. Let's look at the CEO Crates DLC, right? You can get a CEO warehouse to get started for $1 million, and you can get the cheapest crate warehouse was only $250,000. So right there, 1.25 million, and you are set. You're making money. You have what you need for the business. Even if you wanted to buy the cheapest large warehouse, you're still under $3 million. So I mean, there's tons of examples out there of that we can base this off of, and you're good to go. Nightclub, same thing. Even the Arena War DLC, just the bare minimum, you're right there in that same price range. So when I say 5 million, you'll probably even have a little bit left over for that. And now, say you want to have a little bit of fun with it. Yeah, that's going to be more. Say you want to get the business, you want to get a couple of vehicles. Of course, you're going to, for some of the vehicles, you'll have a paywall. You'll have to have a workshop or another type of vehicle to store. Kind of like the Mark II. To be able to modify it, you have to have the terabyte with the workshop. To even have the terabyte, you have to have the nightclub, right? So there's going to be paywalls. We know that. So to have fun and to get a couple of the vehicles, you'll probably need about 10, maybe 15 million tops. And that's very doable. You can get that knocked out. Maybe even a little bit less, just depending on what's going on with it. So it's not going to be a dramatic, where you have to grind to get it 50 million to even have fun. You can get your business, you can have a little bit of fun, and then kind of build your money back up, and it won't be that bad. And like I said, we have plenty of information to base this these predictions off of. So just keep that in mind. Have some have some reassurance in that. I think it'll be okay. I think you'll have between 3 and 5 million, you'll be good to go. All right. Let's talk about some of the content that'll come out. I think this DLC is going to have a ton of content. I think it's going to have weapons. I think we're going to have a whole bunch of vehicles. I think we're going to have, the clothes, of course. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. This is going to be a big DLC. I think we'll have probably 20 to 30 vehicles released with this. I think we'll have a couple of weapons. I talked about that in my podcast yesterday. So maybe I was talking about a flamethrower and a katana coming out there. That'd be really cool. Some of my subscribers commented they wanted to dual wield weapons. That would be really cool if you could dual wield like pistols. That would be tight. But yeah, so I think we're gonna have some weapons. I think we'll have some cars. I think we'll have some clothes and stuff like that. And that brings me into the next part of it. Talking about what the business is. I think that, of course, we're going to have a drip-fed schedule. I think this DLC, I think that they're going to break this into at least 2 parts. You'll have a casino part 1, and then a couple months later you'll have a casino part 2. Just like they did with the ill-gotten gains and other DLCs as well. So they have set a precedence for that, and there is a possibility that that could be... I just think it's going to be such a large DLC because they skipped a DLC release date, that they're going to be able to break this up into 2. And, of course, they're going to drip feed content. So this will allow them to have one DLC to last for months. We're talking 6 to 10 months maybe with all the vehicles and things like that. And they can break this into 2 parts, maybe even 3 parts, where they open up the horse track as like a part 2 version of it, where we can gamble on racing horses or maybe even race horses ourselves. So I think that's going to be part of the content and part of how the business works. And getting into that, let's discuss that. How will this business work? So what I think that this DLC, it just makes sense to me. Now again, we don't know until we know, but I think that this is going to be a heist. I think that we will have a heist with this, and it's very possible that we could have a business as well. Now we've had several Passive businesses get released. We had the nightclub was our latest one. The Arena Wars was more of like an active. So we've had both of those get released in the past couple of drops. And I think with this DLC, the way the business will work, it'll be kind of like a two-part. You'll have an active version of the casino DLC, which will be a heist. I think what they will do with the heist is they'll break it into three subparts, kind of like the Doomsday, where you'll have like you're robbing the casino type kind of heist, but they'll break it into three parts. Each part will have 5 to 7 scenarios or whatever, or setup missions that you have to run, and then a finale at the end of each one. So I think that's something they could definitely do. And then along with it, like they'll have a passive part of the business as well, kind of like how the nightclub works, or maybe even how the bunkers and the MC stuff works, where you go, you either purchase supplies or you go pick it up, and then it just cooks in the background. So I think it's going to be a two-part system. It'll work. I think that you'll have a heist. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to not have a heist with the casino. It is really that I think that would be, maybe that's more of what I want versus like what I think is going to happen. But it just makes sense to me. You know what I mean? So I think that's how it's going to work. It'll be like a two-part. Get both. You'll have an active and a passive setup to it. What's the time frame? We know there's going to be a lot of drip-fed content with this. I do think this will be about a 6-month overall DLC at minimum, because I think it'll be a two-part DLC. Even if it's just a single one part, we're still talking 3, maybe 4 months of drip-fed content with vehicles and other little things here and there and stuff like that. So that's where I think it's going to be in that particular time frame for the actual how long this DLC is going to last. Now let's talk about how much money that we can make from this actual DLC. Again, I think it's going to be in line with what we've already had, what we have right now. I think if they do a heist component to it, you'll have the heist will make anywhere between $500 to $2 million. I think I don't think they're going to do a two-person heist like the Doomsday because of all the replay glitches. You'll have to have 4 people like the old school heists. If they go that route, which I'm okay with. I know for a lot of people it's hard to get 4 people involved. You just gotta get a crew together, man. It's just the best way I can kind of explain that, man. So this good luck with it. I know that it'll be a pain, but I don't think they're gonna make it as easy as just having you and one other person because of all the Act 2 Bogdan replay glitches and stuff like that. So it'll be like a 4-person thing, anywhere between, and they'll have like a 5, a 1, and like maybe a $2 million payout. I definitely, if they have a heist, they'll probably have a criminal mastermind, which will probably be around anywhere. I don't think they're going to do a $10 million mastermind again like they did with the original heist. It'll be something closer to, in between that, maybe like $5 million one or something, which is still cool. I think it'll be fun. And then they'll have that as part of the whole, lure to the heist. Now, if we don't get a heist, or if we do, but we also have an actual business part of it, it's going to be on track with everything else. Really, most people don't understand this, but because I am a money grinder, I do all the numbers. Per hour, all of the businesses roughly make about $80,000 per hour. Between 80, some of them, like the some businesses you can get a little higher than that. All your passive businesses roughly make about 80,000. Your active income businesses, the ones like your crates and your import export, you can make roughly 250,000 per hour, around there, close to it. For example, import export, you can make 240,000 per hour. With crates, you make roughly the same thing. So, we'll just say, just to keep it simple, we'll say you can make about 200,000 per hour with the active businesses. So, with passive income, you're making between 80, maybe 100 tops. And active, you're making. So, I think if it's going to be a passive income, you'll be around there, 80 to 100,000 an hour. And with a active income, you'll be between 200 to 250,000 per hour, just depending on what it is. And it's really hard for them to kind of mix up and change what they've already done. You either have to go pick something up, bring it back and sell it, or pick something up and wait for it to cook, or purchase it or whatnot. That's why I think that they had such success with the original heist, and they had a tremendous amount of success with Doomsday. As much as even with all the bugs and things that Doomsday have, that DLC was extremely successful because of the heist. Because the players love the heist, so I think that's going to be a part of it. Now, do I think there's going to be multiple locations? I don't. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, they could. I think it'll be like an arena war. You'll have one location, like the Maze Bank. You'll have the casino, but you'll be able to set up as a. They may possibly give us a new organization instead of a VIP or an MC. Maybe it's like a or instead of like a CEO or an MC, maybe it's a VIP or maybe it's something else casino related that we can register as and have a group tag along with us. But I think they'll probably just keep it like a CEO where we just register under SecuroServe or whatever. But who knows? I can see them actually bringing out something different, having us a third organization that we can sign up as, and maybe they add free mode missions that we can do in that are related to the business itself. Now, there are a ton of properties that they could add, which could be mini underground casinos, right? I think that would be really cool. So, and then let's talk about the interior. I think that the interior is going to be really cool. I think that we'll have the ability to gamble. It'll be similar to Red Dead. There'll be a cap on how much that you can gamble with. I think we'll have more options to gamble instead of just poker. We'll have blackjack. We'll have possibly we could have slots. I think slots will just be in the background with NPCs playing. And I think we'll have like poker, blackjack, and maybe a few other things that that are unique to GTA that we could play. And I do believe that there's going to be a lottery introduced into the game. I think we're going to have a lottery where I'm not sure exactly how it works, but what I think could be a possibility is that you go into a convenience store like once a week or whatever on a certain day. You pay $2,500 or 25,000, and everybody gets put into a pool. And Rockstar randomly picks the winner, and you get the pool amount of money, or they could probably cap it at like $1 million. If you win the lottery, you win $1 million. You put in 25,000, you have a 1 in I don't know what 50 million chance of winning or something like that. However many players are buying into it, and that's how that'll work. So I think there's a lot of possibilities. I do think there'll be gambling. Yes, I mean they've done it with Rockstar or with Red Dead already. Tez has already talked about that certain regions won't be able, they're not going to be happy because they won't be able to do this. But I do think it's going to be in the game. The casino will be functional in that regard. And I do think that just like the Arena War, we'll have a garage there for new vehicles, because I think we're going to get a ton of vehicles with this DLC. So a lot of high end, a lot of sports, a lot of classic cars, just kind of go with the whole DLC, the casino theme. So it'll be really cool. But those are my predictions. That's what I think is going to happen, going on with this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, I appreciate you guys sticking with me through the video here. It's a lot to discuss, though, a lot to talk about. So thank you all very much for coming out. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for the ills and reals content in the game. Make sure you smash that like button. You guys stay dangerous, right? We'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Yeah.